All right, guys, welcome to another episode. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar,
We're the Smart Bros.
and this is the Smart Tape.
All right, guys, this is going to be our recap video of the San Francisco 49ers game, and then we'll be transitioning into the Los Angeles Chargers game we have coming up on Monday. But
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be doing you guys justice if we didn't talk about what happened against the 49ers, man. I've got to say that's in
Or
my
lack thereof,
yeah,
or lack thereof. What
yeah.
didn't happen?
Exactly,
You
because
know,
in my 26 years of being a Cowboys fan, this is literally from the moment I was born, Cowboys fan. That's got to be the worst loss I've ever seen. Like there may have been losses where we lost by more points, or obviously playoff losses hurt, but in terms of just like what that game meant, what the players said it meant, what it meant because of the most recent losses to them in the playoffs, just the narrative behind the game, and then for them to go out and put up a performance like that, I've honestly, like I said, I haven't been that disappointed in the Cowboys in a very long time, if ever. So, I mean,
and
what
the
do
and
you,
the issue is just like I don't even know what we could have done differently. Like we just played. They beat us in all three phases of the game. Like there was nothing that we
absolutely.
like. It was like we try to throw it, nothing's going. Try to run it, nothing's going. Can't stop their run. Can't stop their pass. Like I I mean, when you hear them talk about it after the game, my main issue is they don't see anything that's wrong. They're like, yeah, well, I mean, hey, it happens sometimes.
Exactly.
Sometimes you lose. We just gotta go back to the drawing board. They're basically saying they're not gonna change anything. Look, man, it's been week 5. We put up 18 max. That's been our most points scored on offense. Like, how do you go from averaging 30 the last 3 years to putting up 18 max? Like, they're just like we put
Uh,
up 10 points. Like,
Against
what are we
terrible
doing?
teams as well. The we score our offense has looked okay. Even
Like,
against bad teams, it hasn't looked that good. But against the good, well, against the Cardinals aren't even a good team. But when we needed our offense to be good, they haven't been, and I don't
and
understand
like
how
we were,
anyone.
I feel like we were giving them the benefit of the doubt just because like we're like, okay,
Exactly.
we didn't really have to, but like we had to today, or we had to against the Cardinals, and they just didn't show up. And I'm not big on putting it on one person, but it's like I feel like it's as a whole. We're not force feeding CD. Our offensive line's getting no push. Dax sometimes not making the right reads. He's getting rushed a lot. We get no separation still. I thought that's why we went and got Brandon Cooks. I thought that's why we re-signed Gallup, even though he got an injury. And I have to believe CD is open, but I've seen a lot of plays where he's not open. So it's just like what's really going on? And is it the play calling? Because what am I saying? I know it's the play calling because there's just no way you can tell me you have 3 good receivers and they're just never open. I've seen people with way less talent throw it to wide open receivers. Like you got to, like, I can't. I don't think we can talk about this enough. Like we talk about this week in week out. Scheme our guys open. It can't be that hard. Especially because today the Browns just beat the 49ers. I saw Amari Cooper get multiple wide open catches. We have CeeDee
Exactly.
Lamb. We have Brandon Cook. Why can't we get that? And I'm not saying okay, every play can be open, and sometimes your receivers have got to make a play. Sometimes your receivers have got to want it more. Because I can recall a play where they literally went press man across the board, safety high. You just got to
One
have a little
safety
bit more
high,
pride. You just got to have a little bit more pride. I'm
and
not
just being
allowing
able to
you
beat your
to
man.
guard me 1-on-1. There's just no way I'm allowing that. I have, you don't know the play. You don't know where I'm running. You don't know what route I'm running. You don't know when the quarterback's going to throw it. So therefore, they're just saying, yeah, we like our guys a lot more than y'all like y'all's guys, and we're going to check up, basically. And
And the way we
as
call the play shows that we feel the same way. We like y'all's guys more than we like our own because we put our guys in zero chances, in zero positions to be able to just beat people. And it's I don't understand it. Like you said, like Mari Cooper had plenty of open routes. It's like that across the entire NFL. There are, like you said, every play isn't going to be open, but there's at least 3, 4, maybe 5 plays a game where I mean, the defenders are
but
looking
make
around
it wide open.
like
Like
the
what
closest
happened?
guy's 5 to 10 yards away. It's every single NFL game I watch, except for when the Cowboys play. I don't understand why we've chosen to make this our identity on offense. And like you said, in interviews, they aren't saying anything's wrong. They aren't trying to change anything. Mike McCarthy has came out and said how This is a team that needs to rely on the defense. He wants to make it as easy on the defense as possible. He's crippled our offense in favor of trying to rely on the defense when that's just not necessary. Yes, our defense is amazing, but our offense has the
at times.
capability at times. Obviously, a lot of people. I want to start. Let me finish this stuff. So our defense, they like you said, they are amazing, but our offense can be just as amazing. We don't have to have a team that leans on either offense or defense. We can play complementary football. We can have a defense that goes out and shuts people out, and we can have an offense that puts points on the board. Because I don't understand how you can rely on the defense if your offense can't stay on the field. I mean, a lot of people are gonna just try to throw this game directly on Dak and say, the defense can't be out on the field the whole game. I mean, the defense gave up 6 first downs in 7 plays and a touchdown before Dak even touched the field. This was just a complete straight obliteration from head to toe. And in my opinion, when there's not a single phase of the game that you can say did well, or not even a single player that you can say did well, that I got to look at the one guy who's in charge of it all, Mike McCarthy. How do you not have your team prepared? How do you not have a game plan and play that will counteract some of the things they do on defense? It's like they haven't had a single they're before they lost to the Browns, they were an undefeated team. They didn't have a single blowout like that. They had all their games were competitive. Obviously, they pulled away a couple of games and won by a couple scores in some of the games, but none of the games were they up by 3, where did they have to sit their starters in majority of the fourth quarter. The 49ers players were making jokes after the game about how rested they were, how George Kittle had 3 touchdowns and his jersey was completely clean. Like, they haven't had a game like that all season.
He had one
Yet,
catch for 1 yard today. One catch, 1 yard. You
I
gotta
don't know
have more
what it is
pride.
about the Cowboys that I see this across the league. When the Cowboys come to play, everybody shows up. But how do we not show up? How do you as a coach not have your guys ready in this position like that? I don't get it.
And honestly, I get it if you haven't played this team in, let's just say, 3 years, 4 years. So it's like, we just haven't played them in a while. We forgot what they do a little bit. I mean, yeah, you watch film, but it's not really the same as actually playing the team, getting the film on yourself. You played them the last 2 years. They can't be doing anything that much different. They can't be. It's just not. And clearly, we're not doing anything different. I listened to a quote from Fred Warner. He was just talking about how, oh yeah, I knew that they like the mesh concepts, and I knew that they wanted to get CD involved early. So as soon as he ran across the field, I just jumped in front of him, made it hard for him, and I knew that he was trying to go to CD right there. And we had another man coming right up, so that's on deck. You got to you got to be able to read the defense, and I know it looks bad. Like, clearly we got killed. Like, and my thing is, why throw those picks at the end? If you're going to be playing conservative the whole game, you might as well end the game that way. Because
Right.
throwing those 3 picks back to back to back is just gonna fuel the fire. Like, oh, you said you were gonna have 10 picks, this and that, which he never said. Let me say that again, which he never technically said. But like, what are you doing? Okay, the first pick. I mean, hey, like, it
Airing it
happens.
out, trying to
Cool.
get
I get
something.
it. We're down. You try to air it out. The second pick. Why are we running slants with Michael Gallup? Like, I'll never get that. We have a route runner in CD. We have a fast guy in Brandon Cooks. Why are we running slants with our biggest, most jump ball threat receiver? I'll never understand it.
And not he
It
gives
doesn't make sense.
the amount of times Michael Gallup has just given up on a route or just not
Oh my
ran. And
god.
I want to see the number of picks Dak has thrown when targeting Michael Gallup
Oh
and how
my
many of them.
god.
Because if
Like,
there's a
ugh.
50-50 ball, Michael Gallup is not winning that.
If it's not a jump ball.
If it's not a jump, a 50-50 ball, like within the route concept, he's not winning that. And I don't understand why we do that. We don't use our players to their strengths. We don't put our players in the correct positions to make plays. And I
And that's an
sometimes I'm
issue.
at a loss for words.
And another thing I gotta point out, like, how come, like, for the most part, we've been disciplined this year, except for against the Cardinals, but from the first play, face mask?
Oh my
Like,
God.
what is it about this team where we play them, we just get undisciplined? Mike McCarthy, what are you doing at practice? Like, you gotta be on them. Like, I get they're grown men, but make them run, make them do up down, make them do push ups, something. Like, you get a penalty,
Oh man.
there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be an issue if you get a pick. Like, what is
Me and
going on?
me and my friends were watching the game, and I literally had that exact same sentiment. They were in there, and they were like, "Oh, they're NFL players. You can't." And I was like, "If I was an NFL coach, I don't care what the
Don't
stigma
care.
is going right now. If you were playing for me, and there would be some type of disciplinary action for an excessive amount of penalties because that's detrimental to the team.
Like, I get
Like
it.
you said,
You can't. You're not going to get zero, but you can't get
and
14.
the coaching thing, I just don't get it because it's like, what are you doing to where? Because like the penalties thing, how are you? And not only for not the penalty, it's a coaching thing because I've never had a team where I know from the first play that once we got that face mask penalty, I knew this team. Oh, this team is done. This is going to be that kind of day for this team because they're not a team where they can turn around. I've seen it one time when we played the Eagles last year on Christmas Eve. Dak threw that first pick six. If you would ask me that right after that, I would have thought that game was about to end like this 49ers game because that's normally how it goes. When we have bad plays like that or we can't just get things going, there's never any type of turnaround. There's no motivation at halftime. There's no coaching adjustments. There's nothing. What we started with is how we finished the game. And it's not
It's
a
sick,
that's not a
honestly.
recipe for success.
And that's why Mike McCarthy gets so much hate because they're thinking like, are you a good coach? You don't ever really see like the other good teams in the league be getting all these kind of penalties against the other good teams or quote unquote big games. Like, okay, cool, you don't get a whole bunch of picks against the Jets, but you get a whole bunch of picks or not picks, a whole bunch of penalties against the 49ers, like when you need it most. And then on top of, it's not even like they're unbeatable. We just can't beat them.
Yeah.
They see us as absolute food. I truly believe that they see us as a walk by win. Like they're like, oh yeah, oh we got doubt. You could. I guarantee if they were like, oh, what game y'all gonna win? We played 17. Oh, we gonna beat the Cowboys though. I do know that. And then we just have too good of a team, too talented of a team to be getting looked like that. And it's just I don't know. I honestly don't know how we respond this week. Usually we respond good after losses, but after that kind of loss to where we just don't know, I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I was literally at a loss of words. Like it's like I wasn't even mad. I wasn't even just sad. I was just like disappointed. Like I get it if you lose by one score, two scores, but like it's like they didn't even want to play at one point. And then just the three picks at the end just was just icing on the cake for the haters. Told y'all he sucks.
Like,
Told y'all he's the reason. Told y'all
that's
he's
my thing.
turnover prone. Like,
The game was already over. We had like a 2% chance of winning, down three scores before the first pick was even thrown, and that just hurts because now that was gonna be the narrative of the game, even if after the first pick, and it's like that wasn't what was going wrong until it was like that's not why we lost. We had already lost the game, so
been
it's like you
lost.
should, like you said, you should have just stayed being conservative because now that's like I said, that's the narrative of the game. That's why we lost when it's that's yeah, we lost because of every phase of the game. Offense, defense, special teams, each individual player. Tony Pollard fumbled. Micah had no pressure. He had one pressure, I think, no sacks. D-Law, no sacks. I just,
Oh,
uh,
speaking of Micah, I don't care what you say. Him lining up in front of Trent Williams doesn't make even a little bit of sense to me. I get it. You want to be like, oh yeah, I beat the best. Me personally, we got who is that over there? No name. Oh yeah, I'm over there.
exactly.
Why am I
Why
gonna make it harder on myself? That doesn't make no
exploit
sense.
the weaknesses? Like, put
That's what
your
you see
personnel
how
in the best matchups.
Nick Bosa he was no Tyron Smith. He was, like why would he
He was
be?
on Terrence Steele the whole time.
Why would I go Hall of Famer? A younger guy. I'm going with the younger guy. 10 days out of 10, I'm doing that. Like it just doesn't make no sense. It was just like they were just like trying to prove a point, but like, why? Just go win the game. Play good football. Like and I hate when they just try to talk so much before the week. Oh, it's so personal. I'm pissed off. You didn't play like it.
Yeah.
Nothing about you didn't get a first down in the first quarter. Like, well, what are
They
we
talked
doing?
before the game
Three straight
and
3 and outs?
they talked before the game and then after the game. Not only was Micah doing jersey swaps with Christian McCaffrey after they all just ran
I
us
would
up,
never do a
and
jersey swap
then
after a loss. Unless
had
you're
the
my actual
audacity,
brother, like I've known
yeah,
you my whole life. That's the only way. You don't even know
exactly.
Christian McCaffrey, man.
But then had the audacity to be mad at George Kittle for wearing the shirt that said "F Dallas." Well, that's how he feels, and y'all couldn't stop him from doing it. You think he
How
would
do you
have done
feel
that?
about that?
It like it's like J. Ron Curse came out and said he compared it to when Cam Newton used to dance on people in the end zone. Don't let him in the end zone if you don't want to
That's
dance.
how I see it.
George Kittle doesn't wear that or he had the shirt on, but he doesn't show that shirt if they one lose the game or two if you don't let him get 3 touchdowns. Like what do you expect? Micah said
Exactly.
that made it
I
personal.
guarantee if he
No,
had a F the
them
Brown
beating you
shirt today, he didn't show it.
exactly. Micah said that made it personal for that was him making it personal. No, them beating y'all 2 years in a row in the playoffs should have made it personal for you guys. I don't understand how that made you upset, not the huge loss y'all took. Where straight up embarrassed. The narrative going into that game was whoever wins this, obviously we know how it goes when the Cowboys win. There would have been action, but at the end of the day, y'all would have won the game, and they would have been looked at as one of the best teams in the league. Y'all got straight up embarrassed by a team that's supposed to be a contender, a team that like we can keep saying knocked y'all out 2 years in a row in the playoffs. I don't understand how that was the performance y'all put out.
Before we transition into the Chargers game, what is just like one thing that you pray we work on or emphasize going into that game? Like before we get into like our predictions and stuff, because I don't even want to talk about our predictions from the last game because clearly all wrong.
Yeah, all
Clearly all wrong.
wrong.
Not one's correct. Not even close to one correct. So there's no point in even getting into that, you know.
Right.
So what's one point of emphasis that you're just like, if we don't do this, I don't know.
I mean, get CD the football, and then the
It
thing
can't be
is,
anything else other than that.
that's what I want to see. And the thing is, what they came out and Jerry himself has even came out and said, I don't know why they ask him so many questions. I don't know why he's so involved. Obviously, because he's the
He an
owner, but
owner,
like
but
he shouldn't like he shouldn't even want to do that. He should want to put people that know what they're doing in position to take that off of his hands. He came out and said that when somebody asked, did they think we should be getting CD more involved? He said something along the lines of no, wanting to spread the ball out to all the receivers and tight ends. And it's like, that's exactly what we've been doing, and it doesn't work.
and
And
that's
the
the
teams
issue.
that force feed the ball to their receivers find success in that. We in the very last episode, I specifically said how when Tyreek Hill being the best player in Miami, he gets the ball, Jamar Chase in Cincinnati, every Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, literally across the NFL, when you have a number one receiver, you have a guy that's supposed to be a top 10, 5 to 10 receiver, you get him the ball. And we refuse to do that. We've never done it.
And
I don't
And if I'm CD, I'm looking at like, do y'all not think who I am? Like, he should be pissed. I would be pissed because if I'm looking,
exactly.
I said this multiple times. I'm looking at the other receivers. Dang, 19 targets. Dang, 15 targets. 10 targets. Like I can't even get 10. Like the one
Literally.
game he had a lot of targets, he put up yards, and then he had a great game, and we played good. It's almost as if when you get your best players the ball, good things happen. Like, why are we forcing the ball to tight ends and Michael Gallup when we have CD on? That'd be like us force feeding Rico Dowdle, but we have Tony Pollard. If Tony Pollard is supposed to be your guy, and I don't know. I definitely feel CD's frustration. Like, and him and Dak have talked about it. So hopefully that I can only have hope because I mean clearly I'm ride or die, but hopefully that their talk or whatever they've been doing in practice and can jumpstart this because it's only week 6. So wait, it's week 6 this week. Yeah. It's only week 6. So like there's still lots of football left to play. There's 11 more games, but like it's got to happen, or 10 more games or something. But it's got to happen now. Can't just be praying that it happens last 5 games of the season. It's got to start now.
I agree, and so what I also want to see from CD is bring some of that passion that comes with the number 88. When you see Michael Irvin or Des Bryant on the side of the field, if they're not getting the ball or if they're losing, everybody's playing pitiful. Everyone's gonna hear about it. That might not be CD's demeanor, that might not be his personality, but like as a
Making it.
leader on the team, you have to have some type of pull. You have to have some type of want to motivate people. He was standing off to the side for the entire game, and then he even tried to come out and defend it, say, "Oh, he's always by himself. He's all," and it's like we
No,
don't.
you're
That's
not.
not a good leader. We need you to be with the team. We need you to be trying to get guys up, trying to get people to be motivated to actually go out there and play well. And
Like,
that's it comes from CD, it comes from Dak, and I just need it all. CD, I want to see some type of fire. I want to see some type of passion when he's out there on the field. He likes to celebrate, but he does. That's all I can see. I need to see it in all phases.
it just kind of reminds me of how, like, when AJ Brown's not getting the ball, you know it. He tells Jalen Hurts. He's gonna tell the coach, and you know what they do? They get AJ Brown the ball, and he shouldn't be no different. If I'm a number one receiver, and everybody knows I'm the number one receiver, and if you have me one on one, and if you did double me, and I'm not getting the ball, somebody's gonna hear about it. And give me the like. I'm all Jamar Chase. I'm always open. What happened after he was always open? He got 19 targets the next game. And if they don't respond like that, I don't know. I don't know what to tell them because at that point they just don't want to win. You know, you can't just have a CD kind of CD type player and not. You know, he doesn't get the ball. Doesn't he shouldn't only have one touchdown through week 6 or through week 5. It just shouldn't
Yeah,
happen. Brandon Cook shouldn't have under 50 yards every game. That just shouldn't happen. How do you go from having 1,000 yards every year to now this with the best quarterback you've played with? It just doesn't make no
and my
sense.
and that's my thing. I don't understand how anyone can think it's not a play calling issue. It's not a scheme issue when this is statistically the worst season for almost all of our skill players. It's and the one thing that's different this year is Mike McCarthy calling the plays for them. I don't understand what he
Yeah,
thinks
like I said,
how he
you
thinks
can say
this will
what you
be
want about
successful.
Kellen Moore, but at least he was putting up 30 a game.
And
I,
that's another
I
thing.
wasn't even the
People are
biggest
gonna say
Kellen fan.
exactly. People are gonna say, "Oh, I thought y'all wanted to get rid of Kellen." And that's like just because getting rid of Kellen was what we needed to do doesn't mean Mike McCarthy was the right answer. And two things can be
He
true.
still
Kellen, it could
can
have
be,
been
by the way.
it could have been time for Kellen to go, and Mike McCarthy can also be a terrible replacement. That doesn't mean one doesn't can
100%.
necessarily mean the other. And as of where we are right now, it was time for Kellen to go, and Mike McCarthy has been a terrible replacement. He has the tools that he needs that can turn it around. He just has to be willing to do it. And with the way
And
he's talking, the way he's saying things, I don't know if he is.
another issue I have is just because you can just see the other teams in the league with arguably less talent. Like you can't sit there and say across the board the Chiefs have better talent than us, other than their quarterback and tight end. They have the best quarterback, they have the best tight end, but in terms of running back, receiver, I feel like we O line we probably have better than him. But nothing about their play calling allows them to be who they are. Their play calling allow, and you could say it's because they don't trust Dak. But I mean, if you don't trust Dak, why is he putting up 30 points a game the last 3 seasons? If that's the case, you got to trust him something. He can't be top 10 percentage and least amount of picks thrown to not be good. So something about him, there's just something about this offense that is just not clicking. And like I said, I have faith that it can continue to grow, but it's got to happen now. But I mean, yeah, that's the 49ers game. That's how we were feeling up until week 5 throughout the whole season. I'm not content right now. Doesn't mean the season can't still go how we want it. You know, the 49ers lost. So it's still any given week. Hopefully the Eagles lose today because, I mean, I don't know the odds, but then we're right back in the thick of things if we win on Monday. But what are your predictions for the Chargers game?
So obviously, my predictions they're all going to be hoping and are based on they're all going to be based on the hope that Mike McCarthy does make changes to the offense. We don't keep rolling out the same offense we've seen week in, week out that doesn't produce points, that is one of the worst teams in the NFL in the red zone when it comes to scoring touchdowns. So this is all like I said, all these predictions are with the thought that they make the willingness they have the willingness to change all that. So I'm predicting that Dak will have 240 yards, 3 touchdowns. That Tony Pollard will have 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. One will be receiving. I think CD. This is again emphasis on them force feeding him the ball, making him the focal point of our offense, making sure he gets his targets and touches. I'm hoping he has at least 10 targets and catches with 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think Brandon Cooks will have 50 yards. I'm predicting that Micah will have a sack, D-Law will have a sack, and then I also want to mention that Stephon Gilmore is when we've asked him to step up and be our number one corner after Trayvon Diggs has gone down. He has not really lived up to the hype that we needed him to. I feel like he's done an amazing job as our number two as he was, but I think obviously his age is getting up there. He's kind of maybe lost a step, lost a little bit of his spark, but I'm hoping he can kind of step it up. He's going to be out there most likely guarding Keenan Allen if he can, and so that'll put him in position. I'm predicting that he'll have a sack, and then also want to
You
mention our
think
safety.
Gilly will have a sack?
No, I mean, I think Gilly. I think he'll be matched up with Keenan Allen. I think Gilly will come away with the pick, and then I also want to talk about our safeties because if you watch our first video, if you watch our videos last season, if you watch our any of our kind of what we, if you've heard of me talk about our safeties, I've been on record saying I think they're arguably the best safety group in the NFL, and this season they have not shown that. I mean, Donovan Wilson, he started the season off with the injury, but he came back and since then has not been playing well. Malik Hooker has made a couple bad plays. They dropped interceptions. Jaron Curse. I mean, I don't know if he was scared to guard Kittle, but I don't know how you call yourself a tight end stopper and let a tight end score 3 touchdowns on your team. He wasn't matched up with
Without
them on those.
trying to like, all right, I got him.
Yeah, because that's what. How are you a tight end stopper but can't? I would be mad if I called myself a tight end stopper. I would be on the. And I'm playing against the league, one of the league's best tight ends. I'm lined up on him every play. He's not
Every
going to be the
single
reason
play.
this team beats
Matter of
us.
fact,
He's
manned up.
yeah. I
Don't
don't
even
get.
need
I don't.
help.
It's like, what are we doing? Why do we say these things? Why do we build this hype behind them if that's how they're going to come out? It's like I said, I've been on record to saying I think this team that group on our defense was one of the best in the league, and they have not shown it. But I'm hoping that they can kind of turn that around because and that's not just me just believing off nothing. They've shown that they can be three of the best safeties in the NFL. So that's hoping that they can kind of turn that around, and I think they'll come away with the pick as well. One of the three headed monster we got out there. What about your predictions?
Um, I'm kind of I'm just gonna. I feel like I've been overselling each game, so I'm just gonna try something new. Go kind of underselling. I think Dak will only throw for 205 and 2 touchdowns. I think CD only have 55 yards and a touchdown, which should never happen. Like he should never have under 70 yards. But uh, I think Gallup only have 40. I think Cooks will have 35 yards. And by the way, I'm selling this praying that they're just proving me completely wrong, and maybe I'm just maybe I've been jinxing them this whole time. I think we'll still have a tight end touchdown just because that's our offense is a tight end based offense, I guess. So, and then we keep throwing, and Luke Shoemaker just making his case for the worst second round pick we've had in ages. So uh, I think TPL only have 48 yards, and I think he'll maybe get a touchdown. I'd still have. I think Michael will come back and have 2 sacks, even though he didn't show up last game. I'm not even saying you need to have 2 sacks each game, but he didn't cause any havoc and he didn't cause any pressure. And I think we'll still have a pick. I don't know who will get it. I think Deron Bland should move into our CB1. He's just faster. He's younger. He's still proven that he can take the ball away and play good defense. So I think he should be the one guarding Keenan Allen. How we do it just because of who Gilly is. Um, I think we'll have 4 sacks. I don't know. I think we'll still win. I think we'll win 28-17. I mean, this is all wishful thinking. I'm definitely not out on them. I know this. I know what this offense can be if Mike allows it to be that. So I'll just have hope that it goes back to that because there's just no way you can go from what it was last year or the last couple years to this. So and that's what it is. What it is. It does suck that Vander Esch it hurt. He was having, I guess, a solid season. Definitely feel like he was having a better start of the season than last year. Cavante Turpin, even though he had a high ankle sprain, he practiced fully yesterday, so or Friday maybe. So I think he's expected to play, and so is Dono, even though he hurt his knee, he's expected to play. So and they say Micah's gonna go back to linebacker. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. I hope. I'm still trying to be optimistic. The offense and defense at times is just not giving me a lot of reason to. I mean, but we're still 3-2. We're not in a terrible spot. If we go out and beat the Chargers, it'll be a good comeback game. You know, we're 4-2 at that point. We're still not out of it. Being three
going
and
into
three
the bye.
though, going into our we're 4-2 going to our bye. Being 3-3 going to our bye doesn't really sit right with me. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I have faith that we win, but they're just gonna have to show me.
Right. And then I also want to give my score prediction. I think we'll win the game 31-21. And like we said, your predictions are kind of based off what the team has been doing. Mine are based off what I hope we can do. So that's kind of where we are. And then I'm glad you mentioned Luke Shoemaker. I'll keep reiterating. Thought it was a terrible pick from the moment we drafted the tight end in general, no matter who the tight end would have been. But the fact that he specifically has been his only catch this year was that touchdown, and like we said, it doesn't matter if we had Dalton Schultz or Blake Jarwin or old Jason Witten, they would have all scored that same touchdown. There's been nothing that he's done.
On
But
top of probably not drop the passes he's dropped.
exactly. And on top of that, our draft class as a whole has been kind of non existent. Our first round pick,
Where's
Mozzie
Mozzie
Smith,
at?
has made minimal impact.
Does he even
Next
be
round pick,
playing?
some he gets in there. Some he plays snaps. He doesn't really make much of an impact. Luke Shoemaker, we've already talked about him. Demarion Overshawn, while I thought he would have shown the most promise out of our entire draft class, obviously tore his ACL in the preseason game. Villamy Fehoko has been a healthy scratch, so he actually does not play most games. Asim Richards, he hasn't been terrible, and when we've called on him being a backup offensive lineman, but I mean, obviously nothing to write home about. Eric Scott Jr., same way with the seam. He's been a backup corner, hasn't really done much to make his name be known. Obviously, Deuce Vaughn gets the ball. Shout out to Deuce. He does what he can, but he gets a lot of garbage time minutes, a lot of some, even once he kind of plays during the game, a lot of the plays don't really go much way. I don't even know what we're kind of scheming for him. That's like this is the first time in a while we've had an entire draft class where there isn't a single player that we can have high hopes for in the future. So I feel like
I
we
will
kind of
say
missed.
though, Brandon Aubrey has been more than exceptional. We didn't draft him, of course, but he's technically a
Absolutely.
rookie. So
Yeah.
hey, shout out him. I actually have faith in our kicker again. Oh, you
Yeah,
know, so
that's a pretty
definitely
nice feeling.
definitely kudos to him.
And I can definitely admit that, man, after that, because his first NFL kick was that extra point after just abruptly getting thrown out on the field after we blocked a kick, we blocked a field goal for it and returned it for a touchdown, and then he came out missed the extra point, but hasn't missed a single kick since then. Knock on wood,
And
hope he
hasn't
can
missed a field
keep the
goal.
streak going.
And
So
it's
yeah,
right down
definitely
the
shout
middle
out to
too. It's
him.
not even like it's like barely going in. It's like it looks
Right.
good the whole time. So it's definitely something to. And it looks like he has a lot of leg power. Pause. But you know, it's just so just see what you got to see what happens. I have faith in him.
Yeah.
I just hope he can turn it around, man.
I honestly think as much as this team wants to be led by the defense, wants to rely on the defense, until we can produce something offensively and compete with the best teams just based off our offense, I really don't know. I really don't see where this team thinks it can go because all right, I mean right now in the NFC alone, this is a wide open NFC. After the 49ers and Eagles, who have clearly separated themselves as the best teams in the NFC as of right now, as a literal toss up of
I
who
mean,
can
the
be
Lions
next.
have been pretty good as well, though. So, but like
But
us, Lions,
the Seahawks, the
and
uh,
they just lost today. So, I
there's,
mean,
I mean,
they're 3-2 now.
it's wide
I
open,
mean,
and
hey, it's wide
and
open
the
for sure.
and the thing is, we should be able to compete with the 49ers and Eagles. There shouldn't be any separation with them being the best teams in the NFC. But just the way our offense is being ran, like I said, until we can change some stuff around, I don't know where this team thinks they're going to go. But I have hope that they can because they have the pieces that can do it, and they just have to be able to put it together.
Facts. But guys, that is another episode of the Smart Take. Keep liking, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep sharing. Appreciate the love, support. We're gonna get back to y'all with another recap video after the Chargers. hopefully, hopefully we implement the things that we hope that we know and hope that we can do. And it's a better video, like more upbeat video. I hope we're
Right.
not down in the dumps, but like, that was a hard game to watch for sure. Like,
Definitely.
but take us out.
All right, guys. I'm Orlando.
And I'm Omar.
We're the Smart Bros.
This is the Smart Take.